What's up, family? It's your girl, Dr. Shonna, and I am here to have a really good conversation with you guys, and of course, to make up for Sunday because I wasn't on Sunday, and sometimes people just need to get their whole life in order. So I had things I had to do. And so I said, you know something? I'm not going to wait till Friday to come on, even though I'm going to still come on Friday. I said, let me go on and talk to my family about Lil Nas X, because you know my family be getting all upset over a lot of things. So we are here today to have this conversation. Before we go ahead and get started, listen, everyone, do me a favor. You already know the housekeeping. If you are on YouTube, I need you to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified when I'm going live. I also need you to give this video a thumbs up and share the video. I am going to keep it clean today. It might be PG-13. So feel free to share the video. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to be cussing nobody out. I just think that we're going to have a different conversation, a different perspective. So I'm going to need my family to put on their critical thinking hats. For my Facebook community, welcome, welcome, Facebook community. I just want you guys to also share the video. Like the video, give it hearts, care signs, happy faces, laughing, whatever you want to do with those emojis over there on Facebook, just get it popping. But most importantly, make sure you not only follow the Facebook page, but you also like the Facebook page. And to all my family who are interested in knowing more about relationships and getting a different perspective on relationships, make sure you go over to my Instagram page and follow me on Instagram if you're not a part of it. Sometimes we just need a break from all the controversy talk. Sometimes we just need a break from all the black stuff talk. So you want to go over to my Instagram page and take a break and have fun when we talk about relationships over there. But I'm here to get started. I'm not here to waste any time because as you guys can see, I am not in my own space today. I'm actually at Ladies Night In at my girlfriend's house, but I had a promise to you guys I was going to come on live. And you know, sometimes I'm known to break my promises, but today I am not. I do have some disclaimers. Before we go ahead with the conversation, I do have some disclaimers. I know some of you guys are going to be all in your feelings, and that is okay. You can be in your feelings, but this is about critical thinking. This is a critical thought conversation. This is not a bash Lil Nas conversation. This is not conversations that other people may be having. This is looking at it from a different lens, through a different perspective, because what I am tired of seeing in our community is the level of emotional reactivity. We are so emotional and so reactive over a lot of things. And I think that is, you know, we have to really have this conversation and we got to stop being so emotional because Lil Nas X or Nas X, whatever the hell he called himself in 2021, Nas X, Lil Nas X gets the troll award of the year because all of your asses have been trolled and y'all have fell into his trap and don't even recognize that you guys have fell into his trap. So once again, great job to our community. Once again, our community gets exploited. Once again, I mean, great job. Once again, we're so emotional and so reactive. And once again, community, once again, we have helped another one of our members rise to the level that they want to rise to by using white supremacy tactics that we always fall into. So congratulations to all of you guys. Now let's have this conversation. First of all, I know some of my community members is a little bit older and they may not be as up to date with Lil Nas X and who he is. He is a rapper who had his first debut or his rise to fame back in 2019 when he made that popular song that was like a country rap single that he put out called Old Town Road. You know, he was also seen doing that show at a concert with Cardi B. He came out and everyone was loving this guy when he came out with that song. And I don't think many people listened to the lyrics of that song, but that's neither here or there. They were just excited about this guy. And from there, his fame just has taken off. This kid was raised in Lithia, or I think that's how you pronounce it, not too sure, Lithia Springs, Georgia. He is 21 years old, and he is openly part of the LGBTQIA plus community. Now, let me stop right there for just a moment because I want to make sure I make what I'm about to say very, very clear. Thank you for that donation, Mary. I really do appreciate that. Somebody said he's saying that elementary schools about lean and adultery in Old Town Road. No one said anything. People didn't get mad until they saw the image of Satan, because we are some emotionally reactive people. And you put anything about Christ or Satan there, many of our people in our community, we're going to get mad. We're going to get upset. We're going to say all types of things. And that's how you know you don't have control over your mind. And I say to you guys all the time, the greatest thing that you should control is your mind, because if somebody can co-opt your mind, they can control your behavior and your thinking. And this is exactly what is happening. So let me finish telling you about what I was going to say in terms of the LGBTQIA plus all the other letters and numbers community. I know some people get offended with my humor when I say LGBTQ plus IA 1, 2, 3 ABC XYZ. I know some people get offended, but you got to understand, when I make those statements, it's really not about those who are same-sex oriented or those who cross-dress or whatever the case is. It's really about this community. And when I say this community, you got to understand what we are talking about in our community when we say the LGBTQ community, because everything is really about symbols. Everything is really about how you identify. You got to understand it. Listen, not everybody in the Black community identifies as B1. Not everybody in the Black community identifies as ADOS. Not everybody in the Black community identifies as FBA. Not everyone identifies as Caribbean. Not everyone identifies as whatever. So when I say the LGBTQ community, I don't think of it like how our community is. I think it's an agenda. I think that they came up with that, and it has been running rampant. It has taken on, it has nothing to do with your sexual orientation or preference. So when my eyes see it and when my eyes hear it, it's a whole nother agenda that is pushing forward. So when I say that he is a part of the LGBTQIA plus 1, 2, 3 APC XYZ community, when I say that, this is a different ball game. This is a different ball game. Has nothing to do with being same sex, even though they sell you that. They sell you that says this is the umbrella of same sex, and this is what we all want, how we identify, and this is how we want to be seen. No. It's a whole nother agenda. So that's what I'm speaking of. And the people in this community, we know, because we have done a whole bunch of our research, and that's a whole nother conversation that we are not going to start today. But I just wanted to say that he is openly a part of this community. Right? Has nothing to do with his sexual preference. I can care less about his sexual preference. He was raised by his mom and his grandmother, and from the age of 6, when his mother and his father divorced, until about the age of 9, and he was raised in the housing project somewhere in Georgia. When he was 9 years old, he moved in with his father. His father, I think, is a gospel singer or a preacher or something like that. His father is one of those things in the church. So you got to understand what's really happening here, family. Like I said, I mean, we're going to get into that just a little bit. We're not going to spend too much time on Christianity, because this community already knows, and we don't have to keep talking about Christianity over and over and over again in this community, beating this community in the head, because we already know what's up. But what y'all are seeing out there, maybe in response to his upbringing with his father, whatever the situation is. He says that when he was about 16 or 17 years old, he started to accept his sexuality. He was hoping that he wasn't, but he started to accept it. And then in 2019, he came out to his sister and his father. So the story goes. Now let's go ahead to talk about our community for just a second, because I'm about to break this sucker all the way down. Y'all just going to have to bear with me. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. If I'm speaking too fast, y'all just go ahead and let me know to slow it down. But I want to address our community for just a second, because I feel our community, we have a never-ending focus on the LGBTQIA plus community. We have a never-ending focus. And we understand the arguments that our community makes. So the arguments that our community makes in reference to the LGBTQ agenda, like I said, we got to understand this here, because I know there's so many people in our community that would say, Well, there's same-sex people in our community. You're absolutely right. Some of y'all got children who have not even disclosed their sexual preferences to you, but you better believe as long as the agenda keeps pushing, a lot of disclosures are going to be coming out. So I want you guys to wrap your head around that for a second. Don't be keyboard gangsters here on the internet. Don't start preaching and teaching whatever you want to do on the internet. You know, in your home, you're trying to ignore a situation that is there. It's going to happen. It's going to come out. So I just wanted to just take this time and point out three things I'm constantly hearing our community make as an argument when it comes to situations like Lil Nas X. And I want to show you guys how even though your arguments may be valid, I'm not against the arguments. The arguments may be valid, but I want you to understand how it's a distraction and you're actually feeding into the very agenda y'all keep talking about. So y'all ready for this? Right? First of all, one of the things that I'm constantly hearing our community say, and it's for all within good reasons. All of these things are good concerns that our community has. So I'm not saying anything about the concerns that the community has as a collective, okay? But the number one concern I always hear is we're concerned about how the LGBTQ agenda will impact our children. We're always reading of different articles. We're reading of different laws that are being passed in different cities across the nation, how education is being shifted in the schools and how the children are going to be taught LGBTQ history. So people have legitimate concerns about what might be happening for their children. So that's one argument that we make in the community. The second argument that I tend to hear a lot in our community is concerns about how the LGBTQ agenda detracts from the original intent of the Civil Rights Act. And that let me back up. The argument is the agenda is piggybacking on the Civil Rights Act in which our ancestors died and fought for. And this agenda is becoming so expansive and overwhelming that is actually taken away from the Civil Rights Act for what it was originally intended for. So many people are upset because there are things that have been co-opted or shifted to be applied to other persons under that same act. I'm not going to say that. Things have been shifted, has been given to other people when, in fact, our community has been left with crumbs. So that's another argument, right, that has come up. The third argument I see quite often in our community is we're concerned that the LGBTQ agenda is slowly removing and diminishing religious freedoms. So those are three major arguments that have been coming up consistently with respect to the agenda. Now, oftentimes I'm seeing, as a result of this whole Lil Nas X controversy, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm watching, a lot of people are turning around and they're making big arguments about Lil Nas X sexuality, right? My argument is different. And that's why I said, y'all got to be on here and you got to listen to what I'm saying. My argument is different. The agenda of what's going on is very clear what's happening, right? But to focus on his sexuality, I think that is a distraction. I think that's the one thing that we always get caught off guard with, and we run with it. We make a lot of arguments about it. We spend our time talking about it. We say a lot of things like that, not realizing that all of this is part of the LGBTQ agenda. All of this is done on purpose because they already knew that it was going to garnish this kind of controversy, and it just furthers the agenda, right? So let me break this down for you guys. Let me break this down for you guys, because Lil Nas X knew exactly what he was doing. It's no mistake why he came out. When he came out, it's not a mistake. It was all a strategy. It was all a strategy. everything that has been done has been planned. Even this shoe that you guys are all going crazy about, everything that has been done was strategically planned for the purpose of keeping him relevant. And make no mistake, there's a reason why people are making a huge deal out of those members of our community that are so-called coming out and hopping onto the LGBTQ agenda, right? It's not about coming out. There's a lot of us in here, whether you want to admit it or not, there's a lot of us in here with same-sex children. There's a lot of us in here who have attended weddings of same-sex people in our family. There's a lot of us in here that understands what our family members, friends, associates, relatives are going through as same-sex couples. But the LGBTQ agenda is something entirely different. That is in my opinion, and I stand on that. And I make no regrets for saying that. The agenda is so different. And this whole video thing, this whole controversy has nothing to do with his sexuality. Our community is so focused on that. Our community is so focused on that. So let's really go over the controversy of the shoe for a second, because I want you guys to start to see that these things are totally and completely separate from his sexuality. You guys got to understand, when this guy is in the music industry. This was so planned. It was so organized in a way, because it knew that it was going to help further the cause of what they're trying to accomplish. And they knew that if anybody's community was going to get entirely upset about it, it was most definitely going to be the Black community. And once again, the Black community falls into the trap. It's crazy how many traps are set out for us that we continuously fall in. So let's talk about it for a second, because I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Okay, let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk about the controversy with the shoe. We have to understand that in order for us to explore this topic and pick it apart, we have to exercise and build the muscle of our critical thinking brain, right? We have to get that muscle built up, because we're falling short. First of all, Nas X, he attracted some attention and energy at his first solo, right? Some attention and energy. People want to know, who is this guy singing country rap music? Who is this guy who's on the stage with this country singer, and he became really, really popular? We know that if he came out with that song in and of itself with no other controversy, and I'm not saying that he's not going to fade away, because trust and believe, Lil Nas X is going to fade away, because they're just using him for their own political gain. They're using them for their own agenda. They're using him for their own finances, their own pockets. That's what they're using him for. So he's going to fade away. Stop getting so excited about this guy. He's going to fade away. But they also knew that we had to do something. Not we as a community, them is what I'm talking about. They knew that they had to do something in order to make sure his fame doesn't fade too fast. So then his attention gets popular on social media, YouTube especially. Got to watch some of the videos when he came out. That's the term that a lot of people use, and I really do hate that term, but whatever. He came out, and so he grew a lot of negative energy online from many members of the Black community. But they're using this young 21-year-old. Listen to his lyrics. Read his lyrics. You got to think about who his target audience is. You got to think about why certain music gets heavily pushed in our community. We have this conversation all the time. I'm not going to keep having this conversation about how music is used, how celebrities are used in our community, how entertainers are used in our community. I'm not going to keep having this conversation. We got to be critical thinkers at this point, and we have to be able to make these connections. But it's no accident why he gets to be so provocative. That's the word I'm looking for. He's very provocative. And he gets to be provocative, and they get to use him to push this out. And they're wrapping this whole controversy around his sexuality. It's part of the agenda, family. Number 3, the outrage. The outrage. So he comes out. That outrage dies down a little bit. Is not making a lot of noise. Is not hitting a lot of sites. It's not being shared so many times. You know, he is dying down. So then all of a sudden they release this so-called Satan sneaker in conjunction with his racy music video. Now we all know how this community has become the biggest. Not when I say this community, I'm not talking about the Black community. We're talking about this nation. Let me just say that this nation has become one of the biggest cancel cultures out there. This nation has become a nation that wants everything politically correct, and we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. But how ironic. This is what I'm talking about with the agenda. This is what I'm talking about with the agenda. How ironic that this music video can come out, which is very offensive, especially to religious populations or populations that may not be religious, but they have belief in a higher power, and the higher power that they believe in is not Satan. So this video is very offensive. This video is very racy. How everything else in the world is being censored, how everything else in the world is being taken down, how everything else in the world is being attacked if you offend certain populations. But this agenda can offend a whole bunch of people, and there is no backlash. So I found that quite interesting. So I said, that's right, Mary. I just glanced over and Mary said, Easter week, right? I found that so interesting because, see, Lil Nas X doesn't have the power to decide whether or not his music is going to be played. He doesn't have the power to decide when it's going to come out. That is all marketing. That is all strategy. And is a team that is pulling the strings, and he is just the puppet. He's just the puppet. So he comes out with this whole idea in conjunction with a creative agency called or named MSCHF. I think it's mischief or some crap like that, right? He comes out, he partners with this creative agency. Now, this agency, they're known for viral stunts. This is the same agency that in 2019, remember, so Lil Nas X comes out. That term that they use. I hate that term, but he comes out the closet in 2019. This is the same year this company, right, with the founder being Gabriel Whaley, right? He goes by Gabe Whaley. He's racially ambiguous. I think he's Eurasian, white and Asian. That's what he looks like to me, but I could be wrong. But nonetheless, he's white, right? And then we have his co-founder, Daniel Greenberg. Y'all can go ahead and look up those people and do your background on Daniel Greenberg and Gabe Whaley. 2019, these two, Daniel Greenberg and Gabe Whaley. In 2019, released the Jesus sneaker that allegedly had holy water in it. right? Very controversy. But many of you guys didn't even know about the Jesus sneaker. Nobody had a heart attack about the Jesus sneakers. It didn't make all the news outlets. It didn't make a whole bunch of buzz on all areas of social media. Was it out on social media? Yes, it was, because it went viral, but not to the point where it disrupted and disturbed our community, throwing us off track, and we were talking about this. Y'all think I'm lying? Look it up. See, I told y'all family, y'all better stop being so reactive when shit like this go out. What is the one? Oh, I cursed. I said I wasn't gonna curse. Well, I did say it was gonna PG-13. PG-13, don't hold me to it. But what is the one question I always ask of our community? Right? I always ask you guys to think, to ask the critical question, why? Why now? Why now? It was a perfect opportunity. A perfect opportunity. In 2019, they come out with the Jesus sneakers, and nobody is making a big deal out of the Jesus sneakers. You know, some people said some stuff, and nobody made a big deal out of the Jesus sneakers. Now, all of a sudden in 2021, they come out with the Satan sneaker, and you guys are all in uproar. This is a viral company. This viral company knew exactly what they were doing. They strategized it all. Thank you so much for that donation, DeSwoovius. He says all of these distractions, the Kirk Franklin issue, Tamika Mallory, Lil Nas X, and Skittle Gang. What the hell is Skittle Gang? Etc. Meanwhile, Derek Chauvin's trial started Monday. Pay attention, fam, is free. Right? Pay attention, family. To pay attention is free. So let's talk about that. So the Jesus sneaker comes out. Nobody says anything. This new Satan sneaker comes out. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's 666 pairs only. Oh, the mark of the beast. Oh my God, there's one drop of human blood and 666 pairs of sneakers. Oh my God. Oh my God, it costs $1,018 for Luke 10:18, which is a religious statement that talks about Satan, right? And oh my God, it's sold out in less than 1 minute. Oh my God. Then I heard so many people coming on. Nike is satanic. They knew exactly what they was doing. They partnered with this. Y'all keep following. Y'all keep buying these Nikes. I want you guys to stand with me and boycott Nike. Nike is not even involved with this sneaker. Nike is not even involved with this sneaker. Nike has a lawsuit now that they filed against MSCHF, which is that viral company by Daniel Greenberg and Gabe Whaley. Nike's not even involved. See, what this company, MSCHF, did was they went out and they purchased 666 pairs of their sneakers. Allegedly, they purchased this. And they redesigned it themselves so they can create the controversy, because they knew that our community was going to respond exactly how our community did. And they knew that they was going to get publicity. And they knew that people were willing to buy these sneakers for $1,018. And Lil Nas X was the perfect face for this to happen. Lil Nas X was the perfect space for this to happen. Right? All of this triggered reaction. Somebody is saying something. From is saying, hold on, from is saying, stop this Brian troll for Tariq Nasheed. All right, so if somebody is trolling, moderators, I need you guys to step in, moderators, and do what you know to do. If he's saying things that are offensive, I'm not even paying attention to the comments today. Y'all know, family, I typically put the comments up, but I am on a roll today because I don't want to get distracted too much. And if Brian is causing a distraction for our community, then we need to block him, because he is messing with the conversation, and this community is for critical thinkers, right? Not for trollers. Fumancho, my YouTube husband, you're saying explain. What do you want me to explain? Let me know what you want me to explain so I can explain it for you. But let's talk about this triggering thing. First of all, like I stated, Nike is suing this company because Nike has nothing to do with it. And they're rightfully suing for good reason, because this company, with their viral stunts, and especially with our community, because you know, our community, we sell everything. We sell everything. We are the greatest salespeople in the world. We just don't get paid for it, right? We can hear about something. We can create 1,001 memes on something. We can do video after video on something. We can share content in inboxes on pages. We do 101 things. We are the greatest salespeople on earth who are unpaid. Everyone comes to our community to use faces of our community to get our community to react, because once our community reacts, everybody takes notice, and then there's a lot of freaky, crazy people all through the world, and they will always help that next company go big by buying these items. But no one is really talking about how Nike is suing. No one is really talking about how Nike's argument is trademark infringement on their Nike swoosh. Nobody's really talking about that. Everyone is making a big deal out of these sneakers, and they're saying we're not going to wear Nike. We're not going to do this. This is bad branding for Nike. I can care less, because I don't get no, well, I do got stock in Nike, because y'all know I got my stock. But I can care less about that. I just want y'all to know what is really happening here, and how our community keeps getting played as foo-foo stupid heads. We're the foo-foo stupid heads. That's what we are. We react all the time, all the goddamn time. The second thing, you know something is up with it, even when the Church of Satan, did y'all know it was a such thing called the Church of Satan? Did y'all know about that? Google it. But the Church of Satan even was turned off by this. How is the Church of Satan turned off? The Church of Satan is mad about this whole thing, right? We got Christians outraged. They knew exactly what they was doing. They knew that they was going to make everybody upset. Christians are outraged about this whole thing. And he put the scripture on the shoe, Luke 10:16, right? Talk about the scripture. Y'all can put the scripture in there, what the scripture say about Satan in the Bible, whatever the case is. Come on, I got a lot of church folks. Go on, put it out there. Right? He knew what he was doing. Then he goes on to Twitter, and he offers a fake apology, and then boom, he's using his part of his video where he's sliding down the stripper pole into hell to give the devil a little lap dance. Because he's building on this. It's helping him to keep his brand relevant. It's helping him to create all of the homophobia that is going on, because this is what we do. We become so homophobic, and oh my God, everybody's homophobic. When you got gay children and gay people on your family, now all of a sudden you homophobic. Everybody's scared about that. And what you're doing is, what you don't even realize that you're doing is, if you have your children, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, some of your husbands, your wives too, if you have them ready to tell you about their sexuality, and they look to Lil Nas X, these little young ones are now all inspired, because they're like, this is what it is, this is all great. So it's all part of it. It's all part of it. And we're all helping. We're all helping. Now, yeah, if he's empowering some children to, disclose their preference, then great. Everyone should have a voice. Everyone should have a voice, and they should be able to say what they want to say. But this is a deeper agenda. This is way deeper, and we don't even realize how we're helping to further this. It's so deep that even a political figure, her name is, she's a governor. Her name is Kristi Noem. Even she takes to Twitter, and she talks about the shoe, talks about the sneakers, talks about the song. Even she takes to Twitter. And what did Lil Nas X do? He trolled her. He said, you're supposed to be a whole governor, and you talking about my shoe. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He planned for this for a long time. And he's trolling all of your asses, and y'all all falling for it. Because we ain't using our critical thinking. A slew of influencers are out here talking about this Lil Nas X shoe, talking about his music, and we're missing the bigger point. We're missing the bigger point. The joke is on you. The joke is on our community, right? This is a guy that didn't come out until he was famous, number one. And he saw an opportunity. I think the marketing strategy was brilliant. I think his marketing strategy was brilliant because it worked. He saw an opportunity to fill a gap that didn't exist. He saw that in the industry that he was in, because he is not as talented as he likes to think he is, because he's not lyrically skilled as he may think he is, he saw a perfect opportunity to fill a gap that was there in the industry and to keep his name relevant. And guess what? As of right now, it's working. Right? It's working. This market strategy that is propelled by the people who are behind him, which is part of the LGBTQ community, you best to believe it. Y'all already heard me at the beginning of the video. When I say the LGBTQ community, I'm talking about the agenda. I'm not talking about individuals and their sexual preferences. I can care less about what people choose to do. And I have young children, and I don't want to make any assumptions. Like I told you once, I told you twice, I'm going to tell you 1,001 times. If any of my children were to come and say, well, Mom, this is my situation, I am not going to close the door on my children. I don't care what y'all do. I'm just letting y'all know that I'm not going to close the door on my children. So this is not about one sexuality. This is about an agenda that's being pushed, an agenda that is being pushed on the backs of the Civil Rights Acts and our ancestors, an agenda that's being pushed while we can't even get what we want because we so goddamn distracted. It's a great way. It's a great way. Somebody said, that's right. That's right, Janelle. I caught a glimpse of that. Good time to come out too, when all wrong is right and anything right is censored. A great time to come out. It was a marketing strategy and it was genius. Whether you guys like to agree with it or not, this marketing strategy was genius. This is the coming out campaign for the Black community. Y'all heard me? I'm going to say it again. This is the coming out campaign for the Black community. Think about what they're doing here, people. Every big deal when it comes to the LGBT community, for the most part, is targeted by who? Who's the face of this new part of the agenda? Who's the face? Who gets the most controversy when it comes to the LGBTQ agenda? Who gets the most share time, the most talk time by influencers, media presence? Who's getting the most? Who's the face, family? There you go. 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 We know it. We ain't stupid. We know it. I ain't even gotta say it. We know it. Right? We know it. I ain't gotta repeat it. Right? I ain't gotta repeat it. Everybody comes up. Oh, so you're same sex. I got a great idea. A great campaign. How about this? Your dad was a pastor or a gospel singer, whatever the hell his father was. Your dad was in the church. And a lot of your fear came from the church community because the black community is the most homophobic community. Yeah, they don't like it. They're not moving with the times. They're not changing. This is great. No. It's great. I think it's the perfect time for you to come out. I think it's excellent. I think it's an excellent time. Picture this. What is the message you want to say? You want the other kids that are in the church whose voices are muffled just like yours. You want them to be able to speak out, right? This is great because the world is changing. We're moving forward, buddy. You could be the face. You can help so many other young children. And they play on that. They play on that. Right? Because if someone feels that their voice is not being heard, I don't care if you are same-sex oriented. I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care if you're Black. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care what you are. If you feel that you are a part of an oppressed community and your voice is not being heard, and somebody comes to you with a strategy to help not only for your voice to be heard, but to help you be the poster for other people, for their voices to be heard as well. And you come to a young, impressionable person and you paint this picture that goes totally against the grain of how they were raised. And they're saying, I want to do this, and I want to be bold, and I want to be able to speak on behalf of everybody. This is awesome. Right? Comes out. And they say this. And he goes with the strategy. He goes with the strategy. He comes out, he does it. And then what they predicted would happen, it happened. All of you guys are now turning your attention to Lil Nas X, his coming out, his shoe, all this stuff. Right? Thank you for that donation, Kobe. Kobe says, Dr. Madonna done this 90s like a prayer video, burning cross, kissing black Jesus. She lost her Pepsi ad and got richer. Of course, of course. And guess what? When she did that, it made it totally okay for all of us to be hypersexual. It made it totally okay for us to be provocative. A lot of things happen, but that's how outrage works. If you understand community organization and community planning, right, which was my master's degree major under social work as well as administration. Those were my two. I had my major. My first major was administration. My second major was community organization and planning with my master's of social work. And what we were taught was how change happens. There has to be an outrage first. And once there is an outrage, now you have brought what has been dormant, what has been asleep, or what has been the thoughts of a few select people. You make it big so you can wake up the consciousness of the community, and then you can start mobilizing them for change. It's a strategy. It's the same thing with marketing. You want to blow up? You do something that's very controversial. There's no mistake he went to this creative ad company, MSCHF. There's no mistake that he went there on purpose because they were known for their viral stunts. And now this was another one. Somebody said it did not make it okay. How did it not make it okay? How did it not make it okay? Do you not see what's going on in this world right now? Do you not see that it's okay for little girls to be dancing to Cardi B Up in their dance schools? How has it not been okay? Let me tell you something. See, this is how I know that you haven't done your research. There was a time when you couldn't even smoke cigarettes on TV. There was a time where you couldn't even do anything that was remotely provocative or sexual on TV. If you go back and you do the history, you can go ahead and look it up. I'm not making any of this stuff up. I come with the facts. You can go look it up. And all these things have created outrage, and it created a platform for people to push back against, and for people to have, that's right, Ida said, or to drink beer. Absolutely, right? They have made this all like this. And once society allows it to come on TV uncensored, society has made it okay. It may not be okay to you or me or us as individuals, but when it's allowed on television, when it can pump through your airwaves, when it can come into your home, when it can be taught in dance schools for young children, when it can be taught in schools, it has become okay. There you go. Somebody put it up there. Thank you. Wait, somebody said, hold on, not that ad. Controversy creates cash. Eric Bischoff. It's a strategy. And see, people who are not critical thinkers won't understand that. Right? There you go, Ida. Ida said, then it becomes normal. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. Yep, Tony R said they will only film Elvis from the waist up. Once upon a time, they would only film Elvis from the waist up. And now everybody can be naked. Right? So if you go back and you do your research, you would even see there was also this controversial video from back in the days when it was showing teenagers before they said that pot was bad, before marijuana was bad, right? Before they said that, there was a video that was out there with these teenagers and it was all about smoking pot. And there was a major controversy that hit about marijuana, where they were saying that it causes hypersexuality, is going to bring teenage pregnancy, it's going to create crime, all these things. And then it was illegal and everyone had to be arrested and put into jail for it. Try me on it. Go look it up. Go look it up. So when I say it becomes okay, see, there go Vicky. Vicky said, I remember that. Let me tell you something. I have older members in my community. That's why they're part of my community. They're critical thinkers. Right? Right? My community understands these things. They'll tell you, I got people from the 60s and the 50s all in my community. If I'm lying, they'll let you know. Right? Here you go. See my community. I love my community. The movie Reefer Madness. There you go. I ain't got to make this stuff up. Y'all forget I'm a researcher? Why would I have to lie about this stuff? Right? Y'all don't want to just get emotional about shit because y'all don't read. You want to hire something from a black person, put it in a book. Y'all mother freakers need to learn how to pick up books and start reading so you can understand what's happening. That's why you got to read history so you can understand what's happening. Right? You can understand what's happening. All of this stuff was a genius marketing strategy. They knew exactly what they were doing, and what they did worked. And y'all all up in outrage, and they need y'all to be absolutely outraged. Because with the outrage comes change. It's a whole sociology strategy, a psychology strategy, a social sciences strategy. And everyone in this industry who is learned, educated, and continuously goes through training, we all know is a strategy. But not everyone is talking about it. Right? Not everyone is talking about. See, here you go. Here somebody said, yes, Doc, I'm 71 and I remember all that. I know my community. You know why I know who's in my community? Because YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, they keep demographics. They let me know how my community is performing and what age bracket they're in. How do you know I know what to talk about? All of that is marketing strategies. But if you unlearn, then you wonder why some of y'all pages don't pop. Because you ain't picking up no goddamn books to read. So what is the lesson in all of this? Let me say something. Here's the first thing. Here's the lessons that I got. I came out with 3 lessons. I'm pretty sure this community is going to come out with more lessons, but I hope you're learning something because we got to stop being so damn reactive. We got to stop being so emotional because it's working against our community. Everyone comes to our community on purpose. And that's why when I come out here and I say that I am tired, right? When I say, oh, Sean, this is bigger than algorithms. Sean, this is bigger than algorithms. If you have any business pages and you look at the, what's the name of it called? It's not algorithms. Algorithms is something different. I'm gonna give you the language. Because when I go right to my business page, they'll let me know certain things. Hold on a second. When I view my professional dashboard, that's what they call it. You got to track your performances and you have to look at all your insights. And when you break down all your insights, they will tell you how many accounts, that's the algorithms, that accounts it reach, content algorithm, interactions. That's what algorithms are. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you go to see your demographics. Who are the people who follow you so you can know who to speak to. I'm going to give you the exact name since y'all want to know, or at least somebody wants to know. Somebody wants to know. Let me give you that for a second. Hold on a minute. Let me get you 1 second. View my insights. I got to tell you, here am I. Here we go. So this is taking up my time. I want to be able to give y'all. You caught me off guard. Gotta look at my audience. So you see that? So this is one of the things that's running. You really can't see, it's blurry. But anyway, is a circle there, is too blurry, but there's a circle there and it's letting me know that for my audience on one of my posts, 67% of women responded, 33% of men responded. The highest location for that response came from Florida, followed by Georgia, then New York, Maryland, and North Carolina. You understand what I'm saying? They break it all down. And the age group that follows me is the highest number of ages that follow me is from 35 to 44. Then I have 45 to 54 and 55 to 64. They knew what was going to happen. And the reason why I put that out there, the reason why I'm telling you that is because when you are in marketing, you got to know who you're speaking to. You got to know who you're trying to reach, and you got to know how to word your message. Everything that they did, even the face that they used, they knew who they were targeting. They know what community they're speaking to. They knew the message, and they knew the people it was going to piss off the most. And that's you Black religious people, because they're getting at you and your children. You and your children. So the first lesson in all of this I want y'all to recognize is, yes, Gen Xers and Boomers are the people that follow me. So yes, you're right. The first lesson I got out of this that I want you you guys to recognize is the forces against us is found within our own community. I did a video on this before when I said racial battle fatigue always talks about being tired about all the racial attacks and the microaggressions that come toward our community from those outside of our community. But the video that I did, I said there's another take on racial battle fatigue that we don't talk about from within our community, and it's us being tired by members in our community that cause us to fight even harder for what we're fighting for. Because not only are we fighting people outside of our community with all the nonsense and all their agendas, we're fighting everybody else, but we also have to fight members in our own community that further the agenda of people outside of our community. And this is another example how we have more weight to push through. And it's like, when I say it's a distraction, it's like they know what to come up against to slow us down because we're like squirrels that's not focused. You know how a squirrel in the winter, they bury their nuts, right? And then in the summer, they run around, they digging up all these holes and they can't remember where their nuts at. That's how we look. That's how we look. We got a plan and a strategy. We bury our nut. We take some time. We slow down. Our momentum slows down. And then when it's time to speed back up again, we don't remember where we was at. We don't even know where to start at. We just be all over the place. That's how we look. That's exactly how our community look. And every time they use somebody from within our community to throw us off guard, we look like squirrels. Somebody said, what are we fighting for? Well, I don't know what you're fighting for. What country are you coming from? Malila Mwanza. And Lil Nas X don't factor into what we fighting for. Lil Nas X is exactly what I'm talking about when I say how we are suffering as a community from racial battle fatigue because we have to fight against people like Lil Nas X. So no, he's not factored into that. But where are you from when you say, what are you fighting for? Because that's not a question that anybody in this community who is truly a part of this community should be asking. And I'm not trying to be funny and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, come on, family. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. That question, I want to know where you from, that you even asking that question. So I'm waiting for you to tell me where you're from. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm trying to understand why you even asking that question, because this community already know. And while she's getting her time to type, or he, I don't know if it's he or she, right? But let's finish talking. Number 2, the second lesson. Money and fame allows us to be continuously exploited. So part of the problem lies within our community. If somebody throws somebody says some of y'all in this chat just don't get what Dr. Shonna is saying. That's why we don't talk to them. You got to understand marketing, right? You got to understand marketing. We only speak to those members in our community, right? Y'all paying attention to people who ain't a part of the community. They're just onlookers. They're not regulars. They're not regulars. I don't even notice that name. We like family here. We listen. Y'all already know how we do, right? We're like family here. So y'all pay attention to people that y'all shouldn't be paying attention to. Don't let them distract you. Let their ass just continue watching, because we ain't talking to them. They can just be watchers. As I was going on, part of the problem lies within our community. Because like David is saying, Nas X and Cardi B are tokens of false supremacy. We already know, right? And it's so sad, because the only thing you have to do is throw some money and some fame towards somebody in this community, and we'll run with it. We just did that video on Tamika Mallory. Cadillac just had to, throw some money up in there, give her a bag, and she ran with it. And she ran with it. Political Track says she said DC. That wasn't the question. I didn't say where you live. I said where you from. Where you born and raised at? Where's your family born and raised at? That's the question on the table. Not where she lived. Famucci says, I'm surprised Nas let him use his name. Oh, you talking about Nas the rapper? Right? So that's what it is. You just throw some money out there, make it rain, and we, again, like squirrels, lose focus. We on to the money. And that's why everyone gets to come into this community and disrespect us and exploit us constantly. And that brings me to my third point and my final point. So here's the lesson. The lack of cultural respect, listen to what I'm saying, family. The lack of cultural respect and discipline makes our community a scapegoat. We have no cultural respect. We have no discipline. That's why we are a community of people that can be infiltrated, used and abused, and exploited over and over and over and over again. They're not used in the face of anybody else in their community to highlight and push this agenda. It's our community. It's our community. So we have to sit back and we have to watch. Why is our community the face of all of this? Why? This could not be done with anybody else but our community. Because we have no cultural respect. We have no discipline. We allow this stuff to happen. We just get upset. We just get angry. But when you listen to what's on the floor, in the political floor, the political arena where laws are made, when you listen to that, who's really out there pushing for some type of structure or laws to protect who we are? Everybody else has laws to protect them. Everybody else has laws to protect them. They even allow us to say all types of derogatory things about members of our community on TV. They can say it with microaggressions, jokes, and nobody says anything. They can say it in music. They can say it in media and print. They can say it anywhere, and they get away with it. You cannot say certain things by certain communities. You cannot say certain things about certain communities, not in no music, not in no songs, not in no print, not on social media. Their community would come for your head if you say anything negative or anything that's defamation toward their community. You cannot do it. You will lose your job as well. You cannot do it. Why? Why? Because they have cultural respect and discipline for their community. And they pushed and they pushed and they pushed and they got executive orders and they got laws to protect them. And I did one of my videos on it when I went over why certain people have to apologize when they say certain things about a certain community. I already did that video. Y'all can go through my files and look at it. And I broke it all the way down and I shared the screen with you guys and I read the law. I read the law. But when it comes to our community, anybody can say whatever the hell they want to do, and they can say and they can do whatever they want to do to our community, and no one says anything. Everyone profits off our community, and we are the biggest advertisers of our community. We'll make a song out of everything. We'll make a dance out of everything. We'll make a meme out of everything. We'll talk about everything negative in our community. We are the biggest advertisers in our community. Ida says, but what is our culture? What is our culture now? Our culture has been shifted. It's not to say that once upon a time we didn't have our culture. We had a strong culture. Once upon a time we had our culture. Listen, there are certain things that I can say here for those of us who are of a certain age. We will all know it. We'll all agree. We'll understand that that's how it was. Once upon a time, we had love and respect for our culture and our community. Once upon a time, we rocked our natural hair proudly. Once upon a time, we lived together. We moved together. Now we don't want to live and move together. We don't want to do anything with them. Once upon a time, the church was vibrant. No, I'm not saying to bring that back. I'm just saying. But I'm just pointing out some things that used to be for us. Once upon a time, we had that. Once upon a time, we had, I don't know about y'all and your family, but I'm assuming if I say it, a whole bunch of y'all, especially of certain age groups, are going to all agree with me. Once upon a time, we went to grandma's house. Some of y'all might say Big Mama's house. We went there for Sundays and everyone came up. Once upon a time, all little sisters, brothers, and cousins all went to school together. Like I grew up like that. I didn't need any friends. The same friends that, like the friend house that I'm in right now, I knew her since I was 15 years old. The other one upstairs in the kitchen, I knew one since I was 12 and the other one from 11 years old. And I'm in my 40s. We known each other forever. But other than them, I didn't need any friends. I didn't need any friends because my cousins were my friends. I didn't have any sisters and I didn't need any sisters because my cousins were my sisters. And we all went to school together and we all moved together. We all was organized and structured together. There were certain things that we could not do. We couldn't wear our skirts above our knees. There were certain things that we could not do. We had respect for our ancestors. We had respect for our elders. We had respect for our blackness. We had respect and discipline. Nowadays, we ain't got that no more. Right? Look at Deirdre saying, that's right. That's how I grew up. We don't have that anymore. Everybody's so goddamn disrespectful now that everybody is all individual. We have taken on a westernized culture that is not our own. Once upon a time, the community took care of the community. Now nobody in the community knows each other. Once upon a time, you walked outside, you said good morning. Now when I say good morning, some people in certain communities cuss my ass out when I say good morning. I keep it moving. They ain't going to stop me from saying good morning and have a great day. Some people cuss me out. Some people look at me like I'm strange. But once upon a time, that's what we did. But now we're taking on other people's cultures. We want to be like everybody else. We're intermingling with everybody else. We're taking upon everybody else's culture. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what I mean when I say cultural respect and discipline. Because I think y'all going to get it when I use this example that I'm out of here. Many of you guys know I identify as ADOS. My whole family knows ADOS. And I grew up in a Dominican culture, right? In the Dominican culture, it doesn't matter what time of day it was on the weekends. Everybody's apartment door was open. We walked inside of everyone's apartment doors. If Zoraida cooked something, she would send it upstairs and knock on the door and give it to my mother, right? If I'm coming home and I'm tired and I just want coffee, I go downstairs to the apartment underneath my mother's house at Loiters, and I would sit down at Loiters and I would have rice and eggs and coffee, and we'll talk. And all of us all played together. We all slept in the same houses together. And when we saw each other, we kissed each other in the cheek. We greeted each other, and everyone acted like family. Even though we weren't related, we are all family. If something popped off on the block with one person, you had to fight everybody. That's how we moved. That's how we moved. And just because we didn't know each other, especially those who were in or from DR, if you didn't know anybody, it didn't matter. If you come in, you come from DR, you are taken care of like everybody else. I remember when Denise first moved into that building, straight from La Vega in Dominican Republic, when she came to the building, she didn't know anybody. And guess what? That lady not only went to work and went to school, because who had her kids? My mother had her kids. And that is how the community moved. That is how the entire community moved. And my mother was one out of 3 Black families over there. But even the Black families was in the Dominican culture, and that's how everybody moved. If they've heard that you were sick, they will cook you food, and they will make sure you have food to eat. That's what cultural respect and discipline looks for. The same is true in the Haitian community. I can speak to the Haitian community because I was married into the Haitian community. So the same is true for that community. Everyone takes care of everyone. If somebody has an idea to open up a business, everyone pulls their money together and gives you the money to open up the business. And then not only do they support your business, but the community supports your business as well. If you get married, everybody comes to your wedding. Even if you didn't invite them. You can invite one person. That one person will bring 30 people. And everyone brings money to make sure you are okay. One of my closest friends and I had our 30th birthday party. She's Nigerian. Let me tell you what cultural respect and discipline looks like. Even though we had a joint 30th birthday party together, when her family stood up for the money dance, she was not the only person they pinned money on. They pulled money on both of us because it was our parties. And everyone made sure we was all taken care of. And I am not Nigerian. And I was taken care of as well because of the cultural thing that they do. You understand what I'm saying? So this right here reminds me that we are taking on someone else's culture. You cannot tell me for the life of me that we never had a culture, because we did. We did. It has been watered down, and we have allowed other entities to influence how we move. So when I say there is a lack of cultural respect and discipline that is happening in our community, we have to really step back, and we have to really think about how we're moving nowadays, and have we gotten so far away from the traditions that we used to have. Because one thing I would tell you about how my family grows up I don't care if you're not related to us. If I bring you to something in my family is going to treat you like family, and my family is going to invite you back, whether you're being invited back with me or without me. You're going to be a part of my family. My girlfriends upstairs, they're not even my blood, but they are known as family members in this family. And when we have an event, they are always on the list. When my Dominican family comes, they are family, period. Because that's how my family moves. And we have raised our children to be the same way. There you go. Somebody said this is so great, Rachel. Rachel said being on code is the culture. Being on code is the culture. Empress is saying, I embrace and learn from my sisters that I have met in culture. Ethiopian, Nigerian, Senegal. We got to understand, we do have a culture. We got to get back to it. Chelsea says the ADOS culture is reaction to exclusion from the majority culture. Listen, I don't know if I can fully agree with that, but I understand where you're coming from. Black Mama saying it's still here, Dr. Shonna. Most of it overshadowed and buried under the mess of the oppressor, but there is still some life in our culture. We have to bring back the strength. We have to bring the strength of it back. Absolutely. And I agree with you. We do have it. And what I'm saying, we have what we are seeing right now, especially as a result of what is happening, to how our community is reacting to these kind of things. It just proves to me that there is a lack of respect for our culture and a lack of discipline. A lack of respect and a lack of discipline. I'm not saying it's totally gone, but we see it dwindling out. Everybody co-ops and influences how we go about doing it. Right? Yes, right. Somebody said everybody call your mom, mama, or grandma. Absolutely. Right? Culture. Culture. We need that back. We need respect for our elders. We need respect for our women. This used to be our culture. Respect for our elders, respect for the women, protection for our children. This used to be the culture. Once upon a time, somebody had beef, we were not shooting each other. It was if you had beef, you fight it out, a fair fight, nobody jump in. Now, I'm telling all my secrets, y'all, but y'all know I have a past and a history. I don't never proclaim to be innocent, but that's how it was. It was more like, oh, so y'all want to fight? Everybody back up. Shonna, if you don't whip her ass, I'm going to whip your ass when you get upstairs. So I already knew I had to thump. Because I didn't want my mama to beat me when I got upstairs. And that's not the greatest of the culture, but that's how what? That's how we handle stuff in the past. And guess what? After somebody whoops somebody's ass, the next day we all outside eating ices and we good. And we're good. That don't happen anymore. That don't happen anymore. So I say that to say, as I get on out of here, is that the reason why this kind of stuff can happen in our community over and over and over again is because we are constantly being infiltrated outside of our community and from within our community, number one. Number two, it can happen over and over and over again because, for one thing, we have to accept and realize that we are running to money, we're running to fame, and we are okay with being exploited as long as we get the bag and we get some coins. And the last most important thing is we have to get back to respecting our culture and we have to discipline ourselves. So you got to understand that our children are going to be the next generation leading the world. And if we are not disciplined in our children to respect the culture, to respect our ancestors, to respect who they are as young Black men and Black women, if we are not disciplining our children to remain in that culture, you are going to be shocked at how our future looks. And I hope your children don't kick your asses in the back and put you in nursing homes like other cultures do to their families. Because if you don't raise your children to take care of each other, to love on their elders. They're not going to respect your ass when you get old. And when you get old, they're going to put you into a home because they're going to be adopting what everybody else does. Oh, y'all know who I'm talking about when I say everybody else, because it really isn't everybody else. But they're going to be adopting what everybody else does to their goddamn elders. No respect. I love you guys. I love you guys. To all my ladies, I want you to go ahead and join the Iris Women. Go ahead and register for class on Saturday. This has been a community that has been helping a lot of women everywhere. Okay, so I want you guys to be a part of that. So go ahead to visit theiriswoman.com and get signed up. If you're not following me on Instagram, I suggest all of you guys, ladies and guys, to get on Instagram and follow each other. I mean, follow me there, and we have great conversations there. I do great videos. I do great analysis, but most importantly, I'm giving you real information you need to really build and strengthen your relationship. And last but not least, to all my sisters and brothers that continuously donate to me, I'm going to read your donations on this Friday, but I want to say thank you so much. And I thank you so much for doing the donations, because to do this kind of work is hard. It's long, it's tedious, and it's necessary in order for our family to think differently and to get the information that they need so we can make informed decisions. Everyone have a great night, and I will see you guys all on Friday, which is Mental Health Day. Speak to you soon.